Well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wat2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So it is that time to make our picks for every game on the NFL schedule. We are at week number 7, and we have 15 games on the schedule this week. So we are here to make our confidence picks. So we don't pick against the spread here. We pick winners. Some weeks we do a better job than other weeks. And then we assign a confidence rating. This week it'll be 15 points, the game we have the most confidence in. We use every number only once, all the way down to 1 point, the game we have the least confidence in. So before we look ahead, let's take a look back and see how we did during week 6 and how we're doing for the whole season. So pretty good record, 10-5 overall, 85 points totaled. 4 of my losses, I got to be honest, though, were Thursday night, Sunday night, and the 2 Monday night games. So Sunday afternoon, I did very, very well. Outside of that, not so hot. So for the season, that gives me a record of 54 wins and 38 losses, 515 points. And that puts me on ESPN in the 83.6 percentile, up 7.6% from last week. So we are in the 80s right now, working our way up every week. Maybe we have a great week and we get all the way up to the 90s. Who knows what happens? Well, let's look ahead. 2 teams on bye this week are the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. So let's start with game number 15. The game I've got the most confidence in, the team I've got the most confidence in, it makes me sick to say it, is the New England Patriots going against the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. What can I say? Brian Callahan was fired as the Titans head coach on Monday. Mike McCoy takes over. Meanwhile, their former coach, Mike Vrabel, has as many wins through 6 games in New England as the Titans have in their last 23 games since they fired him. What were the Titans thinking about? And now the Patriots go to Nashville on Sunday. Now look at the Titans, if you dare. They have the worst offense in the NFL. They're last in yards per game. They're second to last in points per game. Calvin Ridley won't play this game with a hamstring injury. And if you're wondering about, well, what about that interim coach bump? Isn't that a thing? No. Since 2000, first-time coaches, interim coaches, are 6-17 when facing a team with a winning record in their first game, losing on average by more than a touchdown. My only hesitation with this pick is New England is playing its 3rd straight road game, and they're expected to win. But I'm going to say they get the win for Vrabel, so I'm taking New England, best bet. Number 14, I'm going to take another road team, the Green Bay Packers at the Arizona Cardinals. You know, the Packers were my preseason pick to go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. I expect them to dominate so often, yet they often play down to the level of their opponents. But the problem is the Cardinals have just not learned how to close out tight games. I'll give Jacoby Brissett for playing well last week against Indianapolis, but that Packers defense, in my mind, is better. And you look at the injuries the Cardinals have at running back and to Marvin Harrison Jr., I don't think the Cardinals' offense is keeping pace with Green Bay. So give me the Packers with my number 14. Number 13 is Monday night, the Houston Texans at the Seattle Seahawks. Defense. 2 very good teams at stopping opposing offenses here. Now, the Texans are coming off a bye, so they are well rested. They've won 2 straight games. But I think what this comes down to is that Seattle defensive front getting the best of the Houston offensive line. I really feel for C.J. Stroud. He rarely has time to throw. I wonder if the Texans would trade him to the Jets. Not likely, but let me dream, would you? All right. Number 12, the Las Vegas Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs look like they are finding that groove again, and they now welcome back Rashee Rice off his latest, but likely not his last suspension. The Raiders just keep turning the football over, and I think Steve Spagnuolo will have a plan in place to make that happen again. Raiders still without their left tackle, Colton Miller, out with an ankle injury. His replacement, Stone Forsythe, allowed 2 sacks last week. And now the Raiders, the one thing, the Raiders tend to play the Chiefs close at Arrowhead. Keep that in mind, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs. They got it going right now, and they need to start pulling together some wins. Number 11, we've got the New York Giants at the Denver Broncos. Giant fans, take a cold shower, please. You're creaming yourselves over Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo when the fact is, despite a very good win over Philadelphia, you lost to New Orleans the prior week. And good luck to that offensive line trying to contain a Denver defense that sacked Justin Fields 9 times. They lead the NFL in sacks and pressure rate and quarterback hits. They're allowing only 89 rushing yards per game. And at Denver, they have outscored their opponents by more than 7 points in their 2 outings against Tennessee and Cincinnati. So I'm taking the Broncos with my number 11. Number 10, the New Orleans Saints at the Chicago Bears. Bears have won 3 in a row. They forced 12 turnovers. That's second in the NFL. Quite impressive. Caleb Williams at home this season has a passer rating of 115 with 5 touchdowns. And last week, how about DeAndre Swift? Against Washington, he looked like Marshall Faulk. But the concern is he was limited in practice on Thursday with a groin injury. Now, the Saints have not been too bad inside their own building, but this is in Soldier Field. Give me the Bears at home. Number 9, the Carolina Panthers at the New York Jets. I'm taking Carolina. You know, the Panthers have not been a road favorite in 3 years. Yet somehow during the week, I was telling myself the Jets could win this game. I have not picked them to win a game all year long. I've actually gotten that right. And the Panthers just beat the Dallas Cowboys walk-off style. And this week they get Chuba Hubbard back at running back to complement Rico Dowdle, who over the last 2 weeks looks like the second coming of Marshall Faulk. But here's the catch. Carolina is a far better team at home than on the road. They're 3-0 in Bank of America Stadium and 0-3 away from Bank of America Stadium. If Garrett Wilson wasn't out for the Jets, I really think that the Jets would probably win this game. But Carolina shuts down the run well, and the Jets are going to have to run to score any kind of points at all. They're 9th in the NFL at stopping the run. You know, I don't expect a blowout, but unless the Jets are getting a touchdown on defense or on special teams, they ain't winning this game. Number 8, the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday Night Football. I'm taking Pittsburgh. They have won their last 3 games in Cincinnati on the road by 6 points or less. Now, I got to give Joe Flacco credit. He kept Cincinnati in that game last week against Green Bay. No small task. And Flacco, check this out. Flacco has beaten the Steelers 11 times in his career when they were coached by Mike Tomlin, including a game last year when he was playing for the Colts. Now, the Steelers, they have allowed the 6th most passing yards per game this year, 245. And since the start of 2019, the Steelers are 1-5 on Thursday night, and the only win came by a mere 4 points. All that said, I'm taking Pittsburgh. Here's why. They have the best turnover margin in the NFL at +7. Cincinnati's defense is terrible. They give up over 30 points per game, and Trey Hendrickson is not playing with a back issue. So give me Pittsburgh. Number 7, the Philadelphia Eagles at the Minnesota Vikings. I'm seeing a lot of people pick Minnesota. This game looks pretty much a toss-up, but I'm feeling pretty good about Philadelphia. They've lost 2 straight games. I know that, but they've had some extra days of rest. Vikings coming off their bye. And it's still a question who's going to play quarterback, whether it's J.J. McCarthy or Carson Wentz. Either way, I don't think it matters all that much. They have 3 injured offensive linemen. I think the Eagles' defensive line will get a pass rush going. Jalen Carter should play in this game. He did not play against the Giants. But more than anything, it's time for the Eagles to get Saquon Barkley rolling, and he is capable of running through a very poor Vikings run defense. Barkley has not rushed for 90 yards a single time this season in a game, and I think that changes this week. All right, so from 6 through 1, pretty difficult calls to make, but here's what I'm going to go with. Number 6, the Washington Commandskins at the Dallas Cowboys. With these 2 longtime rivals, you never really know what to expect week to week from them. Washington is on the road, playing on short rest, likely missing Terry McLaurin again at wide receiver, whereas CeeDee Lamb is expected to be back for the Cowboys. I still expect a shootout, but here's the thing. The Dallas defense gives up the most yards per game in the NFL and the second most points per game. I just got a little more confidence in the Washington defense making a big stop than I do the Dallas defense. So give me Washington on the road. Number 5, let's travel across the pond to London. The Sunday morning game, the LA Rams versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the coolest stat of the week. Brought to you by nobody. But since 2007, there have been a total of 41 NFL games played in London. This will be just the second time that both teams have a winning record going into that game. That is crazy. Now, the Rams are pretty banged up on offense. And the interesting thing is they're spending the week in Baltimore before flying to London. Maybe just to cut down on jet lag, I guess. Puka Nacua is hurt for the Rams. He sprained his ankle in the last game. That would help Jacksonville huge. And that means Kyron Williams has to run, and the Jaguars allowing just 91 rushing yards per game. But on the other side, the Jaguars are allowing 256 passing yards per game, 3rd worst in the league. And they lost Devin Lloyd, the league leader in interceptions. So he is not playing this game. I think Matthew Stafford is going to have a really big game. I think he and Devontae Adams will get it going. He and Tyler Higbee will hook up for a couple of big passes. And last week, that Seattle defensive line, they sacked Trevor Lawrence 7 times. I think the Rams defense is going to be licking its chops, and they're going to get some hits on Trevor. So I'm taking the Rams in London. Number 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. Got to be the game of the week. The game is in Detroit where the Lions average 44 points per game. But that is going to be an interesting matchup. Baker Mayfield throwing the football because the Lions are missing their top 2 cornerbacks and safeties. But Baker Mayfield is missing his top 3 wide receivers. Who knows what to make of that? At the end of the day, I'm going to say that the Lions offense scores enough points to win this game. Give me the Lions at home on Monday. Number 3, the Atlanta Falcons at the San Francisco 49ers. This is Sunday Night Football. The effing Falcons did it to me again. I never get them right. Every week, I pick them wrong. The Falcons have a fierce pass rush these days, and with Brock Purdy's toe injury, Kyle Shanahan's going to have to call some kind of a game where Purdy does not have to run. Quick throws, a lot of running. But here's the thing on the other side. The Falcons have a better offensive line than most of us knew. They've protected Michael Penix Jr. well this year, and the 49ers pass rush has been MIA all season, and they just lost Fred Warner for the season. So I think San Francisco has some trouble getting off the field. I'm taking the Falcons on the road. Why am I rolling with them? Number 2, the Miami Dolphins at the Cleveland Browns. I'm taking Cleveland at home in this game. Hold your nose for 2, 1, and 5 teams. I know the Browns haven't done much on offense with Dylan Gabriel playing quarterback. The Browns have not scored more than 17 points in a game this year, but the Dolphins' defense will be the cure. They can't stop anybody. They won't stop Quinshon Judkins. They allow 5.6 yards per rush. And on the other end, the Browns' defense can handle the Miami offense or whatever is left of it at this point. And then finally, the number 1 game, the game I've got the least confidence in, is the Indianapolis Colts at the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego, California, and I'm taking the Chargers. It's a heavyweight fight. The Colts have been the most surprising team in the NFL, but if they have a weakness, it's that they struggle to stop the pass. Week 6, Jacoby Brissett, he hadn't started a game in over a year, threw for 320 yards on the Colts. That was his first 300-yard passing game since November of 2022. So if Brissett can do that, Justin Herbert can definitely do that. My biggest concern on the other side is, can the Chargers' run defense contain Jonathan Taylor? Taylor is the league's leading rusher right now, and that's why I'm having a difficult time making that call. But I'm going to go with the Chargers. All right, everybody, those are my picks. If you got some picks, put them right down there in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share with a friend, an enemy, a family member, whoever it may be, and join us Wednesday night, 6 p.m. for the live show. Everybody, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.